Welcome everyone to the Off Takes podcast, special review episode. For those of you guys who don't know, we have our normal podcasting episodes where we talk about movie news and movie recommendations. And on the side, we decided that we wanted to do reviews of newer movies that are out and about right now. So they don't fall categorically into the other episodes. They're just kind of their own thing. Before we started this podcast channel, we would always talk about new movies that we would see, and this is just meant to be a simple standalone review, not really part of the main series that we're doing. My name is Nabahi. I'm joined by Wallied here.
Hello, I'm Wallied from Sir Gator Productions.
And we had both just seen Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is a Pixar movie, and it is a sequel to Inside Out.
Of course.
And that movie came out in 2015, so it's been kind of a while. And I know a lot of people were excited for this movie. The box office is showing that clearly. It's crossed $1 billion, which is amazing. I'm excited about that. It's nice to see people excited about this movie and going back to it. And fortunately enough for me, I really liked the movie, so I think that reception is warranted, you know? I thought it was a very good, solid movie. So we're going to get into it here.
Yes.
I'm going to go into a little background on this. I am a very, very big fan of Inside Out, the first one, Inside Out 1. On my top 10 movies of the year, I believe it was top 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think I had Mad Max first, and then I had Star Wars, and then I had Inside Out.
Okay, cool.
Very much loved the first movie. It felt like a return to traditional Pixar in a time where Pixar was kind of stumbling a little bit.
Yeah.
And some can say that they are still kind of finding their footing in this in the new modern era, what kind of movies they want to make, what kind of stories they want to tell. But seeing Inside Out really just reminded me of watching Ratatouille, Wallied for the first time. It really just impressed me in every way. It was such a I personally kind of say it was kind of a risk to make a movie about, you know, the mental outlook of someone who was very young and the emotions behind, you know, the people we see, and going pretty in depth with it. And they went kind of complex with some of their ideas in that movie. And I feel like it paid off to such a big degree that I left the theater just completely enamored and excited that Pixar did that and they took that risk. I believe the director for the first one was Pete Docter.
Yeah.
Pixar veteran.
Yep.
He knows his stuff. So it wasn't surprising to see him churn out something that was really good. However, for the sequel, they have a new director who I believe only made a few of like the Pixar shorts that had come out.
Okay.
I believe one was like a Monsters Inc. one. And I felt she brought her own flavor to the story, and she kind of took things in a new direction. So the movie starts out, we are still with Riley. However, there has been a little bit of a time jump. Do they say how long it is?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, because she's 13 in the film.
13. A lot can happen at that age.
Yep.
When I was in middle school, I hated it. So really cool to see that. And my excitement, I guess, was there's a lot of potential you think about, you know, as you mature and grow older. How does your mind kind of evolve? How does your emotions evolve? What happens, you know? And they start out by introducing new emotions. You have anxiety, you have embarrassment,
Envy.
you have envy, probably one of my favorites.
Ennui.
Yeah, which is meant to represent boredom. And just right away, they start out really strong, introducing these emotions. And then the one that kind of takes the front seat is anxiety. I think that was such an important thing to do and show to kids now.
Yeah.
Being aware of this feeling of anxiety is kind of becoming more prevalent in the new day and age. Kids now struggle with it at a lot younger age, and there's now a way to define it. Granted, it was kind of around when I was growing up. However, I did know when I was struggling with anxiety and things, my parents didn't really know how to deal with it, because their generation wasn't really raised to be aware of it. And I cannot applaud Kelsey Mann, Pixar, whoever's decision it was to bring in these emotions and, explain them to such a good degree for these young kids who see this movie, I think this is a lot like Pixar, traditional Pixar. Like it's a kid-friendly movie, yet they have pretty broad concepts.
More complex, mature themes,
Kids can get enjoyment out of it. However, there is just such a deeper meaning behind everything that's going on. And I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I guess some of the strong points I just want to say is the creativity that goes behind the world and everything, showing these different emotions. I will say it's not as emotional as the first, but I will say there were a few aspects that really got to me, and I almost felt like I was going to cry. I'll get into those in a little bit. But overall impressions, just really enjoyed it. They do such creative things with the world of advancing everything. One of my favorite things was they go back to the land of imagination.
Oh, yeah.
And the imagination now kind of works for anxiety, which is just so...
And they're like an animation studio and everything.
So genius. I was like, this is the kind of stuff I was excited about. This is what I knew Pixar was capable of, just being creative with things and explaining them. Because as kids, we grow up, our imagination runs wild with ideas and things, and they show that in the first movie. Now that Riley's older, her imagination, it really scares her, it just, anxiety takes a hold of it and just thinks of all the worst possibilities that could happen. And, picture this in your head, picture this. And I related so much to that. I was like, wow, that was just perfect. That was just such good visual storytelling, and there was a lot of humor in that scene too, which was really funny. That was one of my favorite moments, going into the vault of the secrets.
That was awesome, especially with those different animation styles. That caught me super off guard. I was like, whoa, holy cow, that was super creative with how they did that. I'm kind of curious to kind of see how they pulled that off almost, And it added so much just humor to that part of that side of the film, for me. But
one of the standouts for me was the video game character. So ridiculous, but so funny, and Pixar kind of doing those different animation styles. They did it a little bit in the first one when they went through that reality. What was it called? It was some part of reality. It was just unprocessed thought or something.
The abstract thought.
Abstract thought. And it was just all this crazy animation of them, changing.
2D and then 3D and 2D hybrid. It was really awesome.
It was cool to see them do that. I guess one thing they wish they did was kind of give each emotion their own unique animation style. That would have been kind of cool.
Definitely.
They all have their looks, the way they dress and everything, which is good. It's really good. But that was something I guess I wish they did more of. Maybe they were kind of testing the waters with it.
Yeah, because it seems risky, So I think they were probably trying it out first and then seeing how it kind of goes. But
I felt like it just really worked to the benefit of the movie. Those characters were hilarious. A lot of humor in this movie was so funny and so creative.
I'd actually argue I actually enjoyed the humor a lot more in this film than I did in the first, because I would say in the first it did have its moments, but I would say it was a bit more hit or miss. But I feel like the jokes here in this second one I feel land a lot better, and I feel like there's more payoffs to those jokes also too. So
there's so many strong points. the character of Anxiety, all the voice acting, I will say with Anxiety specifically, was perfect.
Yeah, Maya Hawke gives such a fantastic vocal performance
So
that
good.
I'd honestly love to just see her do more voice performances because she really killed it as like the Anxiety.
Yeah.
Like she really embodies that character super well, you
Super
know.
well. And we have a few returning: Anger, Joy, Amy Poehler's awesome.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
There was a different voice actors for Fear and Disgust. So it was
Yeah.
Tony Hale, and I don't remember the other lady's name.
They replaced
Mindy
Kaling,
Kaling. Yeah.
Kaling and Bill Hader,
Mhm.
which was, I didn't notice it too much with Disgust, but with Fear, I did notice it. I was like, this isn't Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Which I guess, little side note, they were trying to work out the contracts, and I guess they didn't want to pay them as much as they were asking for, so they got new people to represent them, which I felt like they did a fine job. It wasn't noticeable, it was a little noticeable, but it wasn't like
It wasn't really
great.
distracting. And I thought their voice performances were great also,
Yeah.
you know.
I really enjoyed Envy. Such a smart
Okay.
character design. Just like this little
Cute
kid.
eyes.
Yeah, with the hair and everything. Not in the movie too much. I really felt like it was played more for just kind of like humor. But I really did enjoy seeing that, because that is something that shows up a lot in your teen years. It's just like,
Yeah, very envious,
you
kind of
want
jealous.
more.
Yeah.
You want more in your life, and sometimes you kind of get, envious of what other people have, I just wish they did a little more with her.
Yeah, I thought she was okay. I wish we got more time with her, you know,
Yeah.
and I guess for me too, I wish we got more time with like her and Anxiety's relationship, because I really did enjoy like the chemistry we did get from those two
Yeah,
characters,
yeah.
but
Like I said, I really feel like Anxiety takes the spotlight in this movie, which I'm fine with. Everything they did with it works. But I did feel in the first one, maybe the emotions felt a little more balanced, Obviously, in the first one, Sadness and Joy have their main plot line, but I felt like Fear,
Anger and Disgust.
Anger, they all had their moments,
yeah.
In this one, I will say some did kind of have a backseat, especially with Embarrassment as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do too much to the movie. What he does is funny and it's great. Obviously, he's embarrassed, so he doesn't really want to.
Yeah,
talk
it makes
that
sense for
much.
that character.
Makes sense. And one of the little hidden ones, Nostalgia,
Oh yeah, nostalgia. Oh my god, yeah, that was
shows
hilarious.
up for maybe like 20 seconds, but so funny. And obviously, I think they'll explore that a little more.
Yeah.
If they do another one. One thing I wanted to touch on was in the climax of the movie, there was Anxiety completely takes control over,
Riley.
And it's like this tornado starts to form, and it's just like Anxiety just going off, going through basically a panic attack. And it's so visually portrayed in such a good way, and it's explained to, I would hope, a lot of younger kids who would kind of, see that and be able to be like, put a name to the feeling, and Joy has to get Anxiety out of there, and is able to like kind of push through this storm that's going on. And inside, you see Anxiety on the control, just like frozen. And the shots in it are just so well done, and it just has a close-up of Anxiety, and you just see like a tear falling. I don't know why, but that scene really got to me, and I really almost felt like I was gonna cry. I had a period of my life where I was having panic attacks like nonstop. It was a span of like 3 years, and I would go through like 10 to 15 panic attacks like a day. And for some reason, visually, what was going on just really affected me, and it was so good. And I just didn't think this movie would do that. When I saw Anxiety in the trailers and everything, I was like, they'll probably do a good amount with it, but I just didn't think they would go that deep and that far with it. And I just applaud them for taking that risk and really going for it, because that's a big thing to kind of show kids, in this movie. And I think it's paying off. I mean, people seem to like the movie, adults, kids, and yeah, I couldn't be more happy. But I just wanted to share that scene really just got to me for some reason. I don't know. Did you have any moments like that in the movie that kind of?
I would say for me, like one of the moments that hit hard was like the scene where Joy is just breaking down, because she keeps getting all these questions. She doesn't have like a plan, like anxiety does. And just her like just breaking down and like kind of like venting almost of like, I'm not perfect, I try, even with her optimism, like it's just, I don't know, that scene for me just really hit hard, and just like the emotions, just hugging her after was just such a beautiful small moment for me. And I love that in the film, like we get to see more of their chemistry and like just see more of like their relationship, because I know in the first film we only get like just joy and sadness, but I'm glad like the other three, fear, anger, and disgust, like come on, because it's like it gives us more time to just like expand more on like their relationships and stuff like that, you know.
No, really.
I would say one thing also I really loved and I was surprised with the film was that we get more of like Riley as like a character, because I feel like the film didn't really, at least the first we didn't really see Riley as much, and I'm glad we get to see Riley as a character more and like see it from like the outside perspective of like what she's going through and like the people around her. I thought was like just super well done, and it was just very just tastefully and respectfully done. One thing to piggyback off what you were saying about the anxiety character, I'm glad that the film, even though it is so touchy and it is very difficult to talk about, I'm glad that the film finds this balance between being able to explain it in a way where kids could understand it, but also where like adults can still love it and appreciate it and still get something out of it, and see anxiety in a way that maybe you don't see that often in media, And I would say for me, like just the portrayal of like anxiety and panic attacks in this film, I thought was just really tastefully done and just super respectful,
No, I agree. It just went in places that I didn't think it would go. And it went deeper than I didn't think it would go. And I really respect them for doing that. Also, being able to helm this stuff as, I guess, like a first kind of big motion picture was pretty incredible. Looking at the director afterwards, I was like, wow, they kind of just did like the Pixar shorts, It's kind of smaller range stuff. But I feel like maybe with this artist, the first film kind of spoke to her in a certain way. And it was like, if I get the chance to do that, I would like to take that a little further, which I think Pixar does really well, proposing these kind of big ideas, with all of their different stories that they have. And okay, how do we elevate that? How do we, mature it a little bit? And I just was not expecting it, and I didn't expect it to be as well done as it was. Overall, there were so many moments I could talk about that I enjoyed, so many laugh out loud moments. I just said laugh out loud. That's awful.
That's one of my favorite scenes is one of my favorite scenes I wanted to bring up was I like the scene where she's like walking with like her friends for the first time and she doesn't know how to like walk with like her arms, so it's like just super awkward. I love that like just awkward kind of cringe humor that they use in the film.
Really though, because that time in your life it really is like that. You're just kind of like, well, what do I do? You're just like hyper aware of everything, and it's just like, well, how do I act? What's the right way I'm supposed to do this? But yeah, overall, just I enjoyed it. The first one may have hit a little emotionally harder for me. The first one may have had some better moments, but I would honestly view this kind of on the same level as the first one.
Yeah.
If not, maybe just a little bit higher, because I feel like it goes for those risky, parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it when storytellers do that. I love it when they take those risks and kind of, reach for the stars a little bit. You can kind of respect it a little bit more. The first one did do that, but I don't know. I just felt like this one was a lot deeper than the first one.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this film expanded a lot more of like Riley's headspace and just of like the characters and the emotions. And I really appreciate that this film did that, instead of going like the route of like just taking the first film again, because I feel like this is kind of perfect for a sequel, because it's like there's so much you can do with like a character like Riley, especially because now she's in her teen years and now she has like a lot of these other conflicts that she kind of has to deal with, and the film does such a really great job with all of that.
And I feel like some people might try to find holes in it, like plot wise, there are some similarities that happen with the first one, but I mean, the things they get into in this film are just so different that I'm like, plot wise, some similarities might happen, but I'm not going to see that as some kind of detriment. You know?
I wouldn't say it's entirely super similar either. I feel like the two films are going for completely different things anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And a lot of new things are just introduced, like all the beliefs and everything that the effect that those have. And it kind of makes up your kind of core character of who you are. They introduce all these new concepts and ideas that it's just like, they're not just retreading water here. They're expanding, I don't know. That's something that kind of bugs me with when people talk about Pixar. Like they say, oh, it's just every story's the same. It's just two people go on a journey. And I'm just like,
not always.
Like, I don't know. People just love to like find those similarities and poke holes. But I think this film really went for it. And I, like you said, I like the blending more. I felt like there was real, consequences of what was going on in her head, and then it would show the reality in real life a lot better than the first one. I feel like the first one was just like,
it's a bit clunky for me, at least.
It was just like main plot elements, like her wanting to run away, or it didn't really feel like a person. And I guess this one really felt like Riley has her story, the emotions have their story, and they're crossing. I guess the only thing I will say as far as critiques or criticisms I have, I felt like the cinematography in this movie could have been a little better.
Okay.
Maybe just a little more creative. I just felt like a lot of the shots were just kind of still, and just kind of like, just typical camera angles,
Yeah, it's a bit standard. Sure.
Yeah. I wish you're dealing with inside a person's head. There's a lot of creativity you could probably do with camera work. And then not even to mention you're doing animation,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just felt like a lot of the camera work was just kind of stilted, just kind of boring. I even felt like the first one had maybe a little bit better camera work than this movie. That was the only thing I noticed while watching it, was just that I wish the cinematography was just a little bit better. I just felt like it may have been a little bit more memorable.
Yeah. I would say for me, if I have like a couple criticisms, I do think the film goes just too quickly, I think it's way too fast paced, which I could understand because it's like, okay, you're focusing on the anxiety, and anxiety is really quick and stuff. But I do wish the film did slow down a bit, especially for like those more emotional moments, because I feel like had they maybe expanded on those emotional moments more, I feel like it would have been even better. But that was like probably my biggest issue with the film, is just it just flew by too quickly for me at points.
It was really quick,
which surprised me, and it's good. I mean, stuff didn't drag, but I do wish stuff was expanded on just a bit more, especially with like the newer emotions and just those emotional moments, of the film.
Yeah.
And then I would, like I said, the NV character was okay. I do wish they expanded more on like her and Anxiety's relationship, like I mentioned. And then I would just say some of the music could have been a bit more hard hitting,
Yeah.
especially too, because there are some really good music choices, especially in that panic attack sequence. I thought the music was super well done, but yeah, I think like the music could have been a lot better,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But
Um,
other than that, though, I would say this is probably my favorite Pixar sequel that I've seen since Toy Story 3, honestly.
yeah, it has been a while since we've had like a really solid, good one, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, like, again, I kind of view this on the same level as the first one, which I'm sorry, Finding Dory didn't really do that. Same with Incredibles 2. Same with
Cars
Toy Story
2.
4, Cars 2, you know? So this is kind of a big step for them to have something that people are enjoying, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And considering how long it's been 10 years. I'm like, wow, it actually kind of has been a while. I guess, yeah, I recommend seeing this movie 100%. I guess out of 10, I would give it, I would say around like a 9.
Okay.
9 or 9.5. Really liked it. It was almost perfect in my eyes, but again, there was just some things that I felt could have been maybe expanded on, and then also the camera work. I just feel like that way with Pixar in general. Sometimes it's just their camera work. I feel like they could go for a lot more interesting shots.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
But who knows? Maybe they'll do it in a future installment. I would love to see Inside Out 3 and Riley's turning
An adult.
18.
Yeah. There's so much you could do with that.
So much.
If you wanted to do a third Inside Out,
Yeah. Yeah, overall, just really great. What would you give it out of 10?
So I'm a couple steps below you. I would say it's a high 7 out of 10 for me. I
Uh-huh.
did really like it a lot. There was a lot I got out of it, and it did hit hard, especially because of like just with everything that's been going on the past couple of years and everything. It really did hit hard. And I'm happy that we have a Pixar sequel that it's just really good. It's like it feels like they wanted to tell the story. They wanted to make the sequel. That wasn't just churned out because of merchandising or something like that. But yeah, just like I said, I think it goes by too quickly, and just some other little minor criticisms and stuff. But for me, I would just say it's a high 7 out of 10.
Nice. But go see it, guys. I mean, people are flocking to the theaters right now to see it. Can't recommend it enough. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Really
to
surprised
see,
me.
I'm excited to see what this director does in the future. So it paid off. It really paid off for me. I don't know what's next for Pixar. What's that movie? I saw the poster for it.
It's called Elio. It was supposed to come out this year, and then something happened. I think it was with the strikes, and it ended up delaying to next year. So
yeah,
we'll see what that's about. But I'm kind of curious what that'll be. Nice of them to do like another sci-fi movie. Hopefully this won't be as bad as Lightyear, but yeah, we'll see.
a little Easter egg in the movie. Fort Town is alive and well. The band from Turning Red.
Oh, nice.
There's a poster of Fort Town in one of the rooms, and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I like Turning Red. So that was a cool little nod.
Yeah, Turning Red's great.
Just figured I'd mention that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, go see it. Really enjoyed it. I don't know if we have any questions we want to get over while we're doing this review. I didn't really think of too many without opening up a whole can of worms with Pixar.
Yeah.
Which the discussion, it eventually is going to happen.
Okay.
I think maybe we could cover that stuff if we talk about a future Pixar movie.
Yeah, I think we can wait on that.
Cool. Well, overall, enjoyed it. Thank you guys for joining us on this review episode.
Yeah, thank y'all for listening.
And yeah, look forward to more review episodes. We got Maxine coming out soon. I'm going to go check that out. We also are sitting on Furiosa that we need to record.
When's it coming out, bro? No, just kidding.
All 10 people are wondering when our Furiosa review is coming.
Kinds of Kindness. I'm excited to talk about that.
Yep. Eventually Fury Road. But yeah, there's just a lot of movies coming out that we need to check out and pump out these reviews a little bit more. We're still just trying to get our schedules down to a T. Right now, I basically work at 3 different locations in a day, so it's a little challenging, you know, going from job to job and also trying to see movies and you know, make time for reviews and everything. But I feel like after summer, we'll kind of settle down a little bit and we'll be able to do this a little bit more consistently. But look forward to Maxine, because I feel like that one's going to happen. And I am so excited to go see it. Other than that, just want to address something. We have started uploading our channel to YouTube with all of our podcast episodes. And the reception has been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
At least for me. I texted Wallied this. I was like, we're going to get 7 views on each episode for probably like 3 or 4 years. I really didn't think anyone would be interested in it. But on some of our videos, we're clearing 50 views. One video we cleared 200.
Which is crazy.
Which is insane. Yeah. We have 9 subscribers right now. 5 of them are me and all my accounts. And
the other 4 are me, obviously.
Yeah, so it's just been a little interesting seeing the reception for some of these episodes. I just want to thank everyone. It's super cool, super exciting, makes us motivated. And yeah, thank you guys for checking us out.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you guys stay for the ride.
Yep, and we just recommend the movies that we watch, and that's what this channel is all about. And we're going to be having guests on here really soon, I'd say within the next couple of months. And that's going to be a whole new can of worms that we're going to have to open up and get into. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. But thank you guys so much. I really couldn't have expected already the strong start we seem to be off to. So thank you. Thank you guys for joining us, and look forward to the next one.
Good day and good night, mates.